looking to qualify for next week's $250,000 final. And now it's time for more track talk. Let's check in with Hollywood Hayden.
That's right. This is the Miller file. That's right, 35. And last year he burst onto the national scene, not just the Meadowlands scene, landing 5th in national earnings there and right up there in victories. Had a huge decade of the 90s. Finally took his act here to the Meadowlands. And, you know, a lot of guys have come and go here, but Dave Miller looks like one of those who's going to stay. 9 races on one card. World Championship driving there in Australia. That was a 10-day venture. We'll ask him about that. Dave Miller is here. Dave Miller, now first things first. Were you born into racing, or did you? Was it a family type thing? Or?
Yeah, my family and well, actually, my whole family and my grandfather, uncles, cousins, we're all in the business.
Now you were in Ohio. Is that where you did most of your racing early on?
Yeah, right there in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I was born and started right out at Scioto Downs.
Now, last year you came here, but how long had you been possibly thinking about maybe making that move to the Meadowlands?
Well, it'd been a while. I had thought about it for probably about 10 years before I finally did it.
The decision to come here last year, was it a decision or was it a commitment to come here?
It was a decision to come here just to give it a try to see how we got along.
Because you know a lot of guys have come and tried here, and it didn't work out too well for a lot of guys in the past. I'm sure you know some of those names.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
Now, what about back in 1993-94, the horse called Falcon's Future was nationally known, had a real big season. What did he do for Dave Miller's career?
Well, he was probably the first horse I ever drove that gave me national recognition. He won the Nassau-Sewega, and he won the breeders, standard-bred breeder there at Delaware, and he set a world record there at Mohawk that night.
And when he went 51-3, I remember Steve Elliott telling me it wasn't exactly a conducive night for fast miles either, was it?
If I can remember, it might have been kind of cool that night.
Now, last year you came here to the Meadowlands, you had a big year. How long did it take you to feel like you really fit in with the top drivers here?
Well, that took a while, you know. I have a lot of respect for all the drivers here, and to think that I was, you know, one of them, it took a while to fit in.
What kind of adjustments did you, not just you, but your family have to make? You come from Ohio, now you're in the metropolitan area, there's 20, 25 million people within a whole bunch of miles. What about that? What kind of adjustments did Dave Miller make last year?
Well, as far as adjusting to the lifestyle here, it really wasn't that much trouble. At first we had an apartment here which was a little cramped, but we finally moved down to Jackson, which ended up being a nice area, and we're real happy here.
A couple nice horses last year stand out. I think the best trotter would be Magician, and best pacer would be BJ's Whirlwind. We'll ask you a little bit about Magician later. BJ's Whirlwind, is he the classic overachiever type horse?
Oh, most definitely. He's definitely an overachiever. He's came a long ways, and he's just tremendous heart and desire.
He made over 700,000 last year. Didn't win a lot, but he was always knocking on the door.
Yeah, he chased early off in the year. He chased Red Bow Tie most of the time. And then later on, he started chasing Dragon again. But like you said, he was always right there with him.
I remember last year on Hambletonian Day, you were right there. You won with Space Shuttle, and then you won the Nat Ray. I said to myself, Dave Miller must have been saying, what have I been doing all these years? This is the place to be on Hambletonian Day, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my first Hambletonian Day here, and yeah, really exciting.
All right, Dave Miller, we'll have plenty more questions and comments for you. Right now, let's go to this week in Meadowlands history, and it was a big week indeed, that's for sure. Because this date, Meadowlands history, Jenna's Beach Boy. That's right, Jenna's Beach Boy won the elimination to the Driscoll, 149-3. That race is now the Horton, William Horton. The week before, he set his world record 147-3, 1 length better than Riyadh. Jenna raced in under 150 8 different times in his career. He won all 8, and that year Joe Holloway was named Trainer of the Year, and Jenna's 2-year-olds are on the track.
Perfect steer behind Garrett in New Jersey Sire Stakes last Saturday. El Dubé has now firmly established himself in the Big M, and he aggressively handled the Cam's Card Shark Bolt by firing out for position and staying out of trouble in the bulky 12-horse field. Dubé secured a 2-hole trip behind Brioso Hanover, tipped out in the stretch, and gradually wore down his opponent in a stirring duel to the wire. Under vigorous Dubé urging, Garrick scores a 17-1 upset in a lifetime best. Be sure to play the Harness 2000 Fantasy Challenge. Congratulations to our Week 17 winner, Mindy Tharp of Akron, Ohio, who won a 3-way tiebreaker over Stacy Nemeth and Scott Quinn and won a $100 betting voucher. Now here's the new lineup of groups for Week 18. Group 1 stays the same with the top 4 drivers at the track. Group 2 now has 3 drivers. Group 3 matches Moiseev, Morrill, and Parker. Group 4 will have Birch, Manzi, and Silverman. Group 5, trainer Richard Chansky joins trainer Ross Krogan, Mark Kismodal, and Patrick LaChance. And in Group 6, it's Noel Daly, Monty Gelrod, and Brett Pelling. The Harness 2000 Fantasy Challenge is easy to play. Each week, pick one man from each group to form your fantasy team. Starting week 18, first prize is a sharp 20-inch color TV. For complete contest details, check out our website, thebigm.com.
And welcome back to Track Talk Live on a Thursday night here on CN8. And along with all of our friends on CN8, we are welcoming those on the internet that are logged on to www.bigm.com. We are now part of the internet scene. You log on to the Big M website, you get Track Talk Live. So anywhere in the world, you can call in and be a part of the show. And we were going to talk to someone from outside the regional area a bit later on. Right now, let's go to the phone lines. And Vinny is on the line from Manalapan. Welcome to Track Talk, Vinny.
Hey guys, great show. Really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Dave, first time I ever had a real chance to see you was when you won the third Challenge of the Champions at Freehold Raceway. I was wondering if you remembered when you won it and how you felt about it, and if it was a nice welcome to New Jersey for you.
Well, yeah, definitely. That was a nice welcome. Yeah, I remember that day real well. I had 6 drives in the Challenge there, and I won 4 of them. And it was just one of those days where I couldn't do anything wrong. Every move I made was the right one, and it was a tremendous day.
All right, back to the phone lines we go, and we're going to San Rafael, California now. That's right, California phone call, and welcome to the show, Sam.
Well, thank you very much. David, I had a question. When you were growing up, do you remember the first time you got to see some legendary trotter or pacer and being excited about it?
Yeah, I can remember it well. 1976, I went to Delaware and seen Keystone Ore win the Little Brown Jug.
Well, that was Stanley Dancer. That was that was the last time we had a horse of the year. Actually didn't race here because the Meadowlands had opened that same year, but Keystone Ore was a very underrated pacer, I believe, too.
Let's touch right now on Magician. And David, what makes Magician such a special trotter? It's so tough to keep a trotter going the way this horse is going for as long as he has. You won, of course, the Nat Ray last year with this horse, 7 of 8 this year. What about Magician? What makes this horse something special?
Well, definitely his speed. I mean, he can. He has a lot of high speed, and he can carry it a long ways. But he's gotten better from last year to this year as far as manners-wise. He has a tendency to act up now and again, but he seems to be getting more of a routine going, and he seems to be having his head on straight so far.
I see the lead pony, though, still takes him out on the track, though. Is that by habit or necessary? Or?
Well, last year it was necessary last year, but this year we've just been doing it just because it works, and we don't want to take any chances of anything going wrong.
Now, last week we had 2 breakers in the Cutler final. We had Fern went off stride, and so did Fool's Gold. Would you have won the race if they did not break?
That's a good question. The way Fool's Gold raced the week before, I would say I would have had a real hard time beating him. But as it worked out, it worked our way anyways.
Now, Magician's going to have a lot of stakes away from the Meadowlands, and the Meadowlands closes. Are you going to maybe possibly travel around with him?
Boy, I hope so. I'd like to stick right with him.
Dave, let's go back to 1998, and I think it has to be, I wouldn't know, of course, but I think it would have to be some kind of feeling, not to win 4 or 5 or 8, but you won 9 on the card at Northfield. What was going through your mind that night when you got done with the night and said 9 winners on 1 card?
Yeah, that was very exciting. Believe it or not, prior to then, I'd win like 7 a couple times, and I'd win 8, I think, once. And going into the night, I wasn't thinking about winning 9 races. And when I got up to 7 or 8, then it finally dawned on me that I was going to tie the world record at the time for 9 wins. And it was the last race, and I drove very hard to get there.
David Miller, our special guest here on Track Talk Live tonight. Your calls at 1-877-CNN Live. Give us a buzz right now. Get your questions ready. We'll be right back in a moment as Track Talk Live continues on CN8. Bob Hayden, our special guest tonight. Driver David Miller won his first race back in 1981. Long way since then. 133 wins last year in his first full year at the Big M. Back to the phone lines we go. Greg from Ocean is on the line. Greg, welcome to Track Talk.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Holly. Hi, Dave. I don't know if any of you guys are fathers or all you are, but happy Father's Day if you are. I have to admit, Dave, that when you first came here, I didn't think you'd make it. And after that first month, I thought you were for sure you were going to go back home. but you proved me and a lot of other people wrong, and I'd just like to congratulate you on all your success now and in the future. My question to you is, did you come to the Meadowlands to prove to yourself and to everybody else that you are a Hall of Fame caliber driver?
No, not really. I came here basically for the money and to get a chance to drive the top horses. I'd never really driven one, and I was, it's always a dream of mine to win the big races, and that's the main reason why I came here.
Back to the phone lines, and Dan from Edison is on the line. Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike, Holly. My question for Dave, and I'd like some input from Holly on what he feels. What do you think about the race official allowing 15 horses in the race coming up tomorrow night? Do you feel that it is, number one, fair for the owners, and secondly, safe for the horses and drivers for this large of a field?
No, I don't think it's really fair for the owners. As far as safety, it's a little more of a risk with having that many horses in there, but I would have to say that it's definitely not fair for everyone really involved.
Well, the rule is 16. 16 is what's allowed. I just want to ask you a question about, are you surprised Virgil Morgan has made such an impact in the Meadowlands?
No, not at all. Virgil is he's a very good trainer, and he's proved himself here. He works very hard at what he does, and it was no surprise that he did what he did out here.
Back to the phone line. Sal from Jamesburg joins us. Hi, Sal. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Hi, Hollywood. Hi, David. How you doing? Just wanted to congratulate you, David, on winning the Cardinal last week. Magician was absolutely fabulous. I was there live at the Meadowlands, and he was well in hand, and best of luck the rest of the season with him. I followed you when you came at Northfield, from watching Northfield all the time. Has your driving style changed from racing on a half-mile track to the big track at the Meadowlands at all?
Well, I really don't think it really has changed a whole lot. It seems like to me that I raced at Freehold pretty much all last year, and it seems to me every track that you're at, it's important to be close to the front. With the mile track, you have more of a stretch to give a closing kick with, but it's still you got to be in position and got to be close to the front, I believe.
All right, thank you for the calls, and of course we'll have more calls coming up in just a few moments. We'll take a brief time out. David Miller, our guest tonight here on Track Talk Live, 1-877-CNA Live. Give us a call. Dave's here for a couple more minutes. Here on Track Talk Live, Mike Hersey, Hollywood Hayden, and Dave Miller. Scott from Lodi is on the line. Scott, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mr. Miller. I'm a very big fan of yours, and you're doing a great job this year at the Meadowlands. I know for a while there you drove at the Meadows, and night after night, how did it feel to look over and be parked by Dave Pallone every night?
Well, that got to be a little tiring after a while, but Dave, he's a great driver, and he puts horses in position, and he's definitely one you got to beat when you go out there.
Steve from Middletown joins us now. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, I'm just fine. Dave, here in Ohio, of course, we've known you for a long time, and I watched you when you started at Lebanon Raceway. And I was just wondering, when you won with Falcon's Future at the Meadowlands when he was a 2-year-old, was that your first win at the Meadowlands? And also, was that by chance your first drive at the Meadowlands?
Yes, it was. It was my first drive here, and it was my first win here.
All right, so hearing from Ohio tonight, Steve from Middletown, Ohio, thanks for calling in. We've tried to get an answer for the quiz question, have not had a correct answer, so let's give it out as we get near the end of the show.
That's right. Well, we tried to couldn't give it away. Eric Ledford had 2. He had 5 drives that night, won 2. You got to go back to 1994. Last time a driver debuted here, won twice in the same night, and it was Peter Wren who did it back in 1994. He came in, he won the couple big races under Reuters for Robinson, and you don't see that much of him, but he comes in from Michigan every now and then and does a good job.
One of our guests here asked us about the possibility of Moneymaker and Magician doing battle at some point down the road. Dave, how do you think that challenge will come out?
Well, I've only raced against her once with him, and she beat me. But what I think if we have an edge over is his age. He's a little younger than she is, and where he might be just a little stronger now. But she's a great horse, and you can never count her out.
Well, Mark Jordan is already on record as saying that Super Grit will win the Breeders' Crown this year. Now, last year, you outdueled him in the Nat Ray, but the last 2 Breeders' Crown winners are Moneymaker and Super Grit. They're going for $1 million this year. What about it?
Yeah, that's 2 great horses there. Last year in the Nat Ray, we got a pretty easy trip and got cheap fractions, and spent it home pretty good, and he was still coming at me, Super Grit was. So it'll be an interesting race, but I think my horse is as good as any of them.
All right, Dave Miller, we thank you so much for joining us here on Track Talk Live. Continued success here at the Big M, and look forward to seeing you and Magician back on the track in the near future, teaming up once again. Of course, they've won 7 of 8 already this year. Now, speaking of Moneymaker, who we just spoke about, Jimmy Takter, the trainer of Moneymaker, will be our special guest next week here on Track Talk Live. So get your questions ready for the trotting master, Jimmy Takter, at 1-877-CN8 Live. And don't forget to come out for the live racing here at the Big M, Tuesday through Saturday. First race is at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. We'd love to see you out here. And especially on Fridays, hey, it's the happy hour presented by Budweiser at the Kahuna Wedge, right along the stretch from 6 to 11 p.m. every Friday here at the Big M. Comedy and music entertainment for you at the Meadowlands. For our entire crew here at the Big M, we thank you very much for watching Track Talk Live. We'll see you again next week. Our special guest, Jimmy Takter. Have a great night, everybody.